36 best drone racing pilots in the world. They're racing remote-controlled drones flown in first-person view goggles. This is the Drone Champions League. Welcome to the Drone Champions League and our 2017 season, which started a few months ago on the Champs-Élysées in Paris. 9 teams of incredible pilots and a big challenge for them.
It's going to be a hard run now because we're 3 points to 1 in the back.
180,000 spectators joined us live in front of the Arc de Triomphe. Beautiful weather for them and for our racers, and it was Flyduino Kiss who won the Grand Prix of Paris, beating FPVRacing and Rotorama. Our second stop was Vaduz, the capital of Liechtenstein.
Now made it to the final, feel really confident and excited, really happy.
We started in beautiful sunshine, we ended in torrential rain. Our pilots still managed to fly, and it was Conrad Racing Team who won. They prevailed against FPV Racing, who were runners-up again, and NEXXBlades. That gave FPV Racing a total of 440 points, and currently the leader of the season, but in Brussels, everything can change.
I think the Brussels as a first stop is really nice because the atmosphere here is great. It's a beautiful city and it just looks great.
Location is beautiful. You got in the background these beautiful houses and buildings. It's like everything looks so clean and really fresh.
When you look down from the top, it looks really, really good.
I think it's another step up on the location. It's again in the middle of the city, and I think it will be epic.
I think it's going to be really spectacular for the people who are coming to watch it.
It's something really challenging, and I believe that both pilots and spectators will really like it.
This is like the first time they see the whole track. They're going to see the whole fighting of the drones, so it's going to be pretty amazing.
Gonna be amazing.
Time for the pilots to preview our amazing track.
At the start, you have a super long straight all the way to the back of the track, and then you have the pink gate. When you're going full throttle, you're gonna use a lot of juice, a lot of battery, and that's gonna make you, when you have to make the corner, you have to have some power left to, do the full stop. If you survive that, then you have to do another straight back to the DCL gate right there.
So after you take the DCL gate right there, you have to keep your altitude in mind because you're going into the tree line, which is right there. It's gonna be really tight and a pretty sharp corner, so take a turn to the right, go around the gate on the side and go through it.
So after you're passing the gate sideways, you have to go in this building right here. It's a straight line in the building, but you have to pass this gap and not hit the hit the obstacle. After the building, you have to U-turn 180 degrees and go through the gate, hanging on the building. After the hanging gate, you have to do a split S into the Conrad gate, the blue one, and then go straight to the Ibis gate.
On the second lap ends differently because it ends in the crash gate, which is down there, just after the yellow DCL gate.
The Drone Champions League wants to let everybody experience the thrill of flight and the unlimited freedom that it brings, but it's also the world's best drone racing series, and there are rules.
Hello, I'm Fabian, I'm the race director. If you want to fly with the DCL, you have to follow the rules.
Okay, so the drone has to be at least 700 grams. Maximum 1 kilograms. If you're right under 700 grams and you need some extra weight, call me. I can help you with some nice stuff.
So remember, only to run 4S and 16.8 volts batteries.
If you want to race in Brussels, you have to bring 40 LEDs and install them on your copter so we can see the copter at night.
The color of your props has to match the color of your team.
Oh hey guys, moving parts, moving flaps on your quad are forbidden.
So the competition is tough. And with Paris and Vaduz behind us, let's meet the pilots from our top 3 teams.
I believe my team, they're really strong pilots, really well experienced and skilled.
We've still got the skills to bring ourselves back up to the top.
Not going great when you look at the results table.
Just looking forward to getting the job done here in Brussels.
We got a lot of podiums, 2 podiums from 3 races.
Currently in the standings, we are on number 3.
We are gonna be first for sure.
I think like the big key in our team is like everybody's helping each other and we stand in for each other. We're good racers, we got the good team spirit, so I think we can achieve a lot.
We are first on the table and I think it's time for victory this time.
So who rocks the course on the Mont Des Arts in Brussels? There's going to be some surprises.
Try not to get another yellow card.
Actually very disappointing for the team.
It's a beautiful sunny evening in Brussels in Belgium, and we are standing where many locals come to spend an evening watching the sun go down over the beautiful and historic Mont Des Arts. But today, there's a little more to see, both in the air and in the ground, because the Drone Champions League has landed. I'm Matt Andrews, welcome to our 3rd race of the 2017 season, where Brussels has kindly let us take over here to build one of the most technical real-world drone races ever conceived. We have 9 teams of the world's best drone racing pilots flying at speeds of up to 140 kilometers an hour through the library and under trees of this park. Those teams are really going to have to show us their very best as they continue to take points towards our winners of our big 2017 season. Many sports have yellow cards, and the Drone Champions League is no exception, as 22-year-old Johnny Scher from Atlanta learns when he got a safety violation for exceeding the maximum height.
So I clipped the tree returning to the home. There was a leaf over my lens, so it was a little hard to see, and I was basically doing maneuvers to try and get the leaf off of the screen, and they thought I was going way too high. I don't know technically how high I went. I felt I was taking a somewhat safe approach to removing the leaf. It happens, I don't know, just gonna continue on and try not to get another yellow card.
After qualification, Johnny was 12th, but the sensation was that our winners from our last race, Conrad Racing Team, they are out.
Based on the track here, we decided to go in a safe way, and in a way we counted on crashes maybe, but we didn't expect in that way that we are too slow. That's very simple, we were too slow, yeah, what to say, it's actually very disappointing for the team, at least. Maybe it was a wrong decision, or at least I can say it was a wrong strategy which we followed.
So Conrad Racing Team are out, and the 8 remaining teams are seeded and then face each other in knockout stages for our quarter semis and grand final. And the Drone Champions League is a unique format. Each round will see a series of one-on-one races before the big heat, with 8 drones in the air. In the quarterfinal between NEXXBlades Free Flow and Rotorama, Young Rock Sun got into terrible trouble with our trees. Crashed into them, managed to take off again, gets out of the tree section but unfortunately hits another gate. It is Jakob Thoman who brings home the point in the big heat and takes Rotorama to the semi-finals. Our first quarter-final was between NEXXBlades Racing and IRC, who are still trying to get their first points on the board for this season. Unfortunately, they go down 3-0 in the quarter-finals again. Mac Poshvolt was the fastest of all of the pilots in qualifying. He led his team, scoring 2 points for them. Gary Kent, however, had worse luck. He had this amazing mid-air collision with Andre Krasny. Andre ended up in the netting, Gary ended up in the water. So after our 4 quarterfinals, NEXXBlades Racing took out IRC and Gemfan knocked out Flyduino Kiss, so that's our first semi-final. Then FPV and Rotorama face each other in the second after they knocked out Wildprop and NEXXBlades Free Flow. Semi-final 1 with Adam Blackburn, Brett Collis, Gary Kent and Mac Poshvolt for NEXXBlades Racing, and their opponents Gemfan, represented by Krzysztof Kartanovic, Victor Van Elst making his first appearance for the season, Mirko Cezena and Karan Garbran, who was in the first single heat against Brett Collis. They left the starting blocks together, taking the first hairpin turn through that gate up to DCL and then heading towards the extremely difficult tree section, in which Karan Garbran got into a bit of a difficulty, going very wide, eventually clipping one, and he was down. Brett Collis took the first point for his team. Mirko Cezena took the first point in the next single heat. That's how you finish a race into our crash gate, which means it is 1-1 as we go into the big heat with 8 drones in the air at the same time. All 8 drones out of the starting blocks, and it's the blue ones for NEXXBlades Racing with the better start. Mac Poshvolt in the lead after our first gate through DCL and coming a cropper into the netting like his teammate Gary Kent did earlier. There's the difficult tree section, and now Karan Gartanovic for Gemfan is in the lead, but now he's down and his teammates are all out of this. Brett Collis flying through the library gallery section. Hairpin turn at the end of this and a bit of a roll as well. He goes through the docks gate over those trees that have caused so many crashes, through Conrad and Alliance, and he starts his second lap with his teammate, the amazing superstar, 10-year-old Adam Blackburn behind him. Brett Collis through DCL comes up to the trees in one of the better lines we've seen. Some pilots prefer to go the long way round and make it safer. Brett in and out very sharply through into parking and realises this race is his. And the first spot in the grand final is theirs. His teammate Gary Kent doing a little spin before bringing it gently into the crash gate to clock a finishing time. His teammate Adam Blackburn's checking the results, but yes, NEXXBlades Racing are in the grand final. Confirmation of NEXXBlades Racing in the grand final of the Brussels Grand Prix after their win over Gemfan. We'll see who they're going to race shortly. But first, they say what goes up must come down, and this of course applies to drones. And our pilots race with different strategies.
I will choose stability over speed for this track and push at the right moment, just when you need to. So wait until you really have to push, otherwise you just crash out.
That's the strategy of Timothy Trowbridge, which has scored in many points this season, but when it goes wrong, that's what our runners are for.
I mean, it's a high-speed track, but in the end, like, what matters to me is really to stay smooth and consistent. So, you know, crashing is the worst part, so I always avoid that.
Even a top-class pilot like Mac Poshvalt sometimes gets into difficulties on our incredibly difficult tracks, however. And so that's when our ground crew have to get creative, running, climbing, and finding special ways to retrieve drones from trees, buildings, or the water. Sometimes, though, our pilots come up with new ways to recover their drones themselves, and for the first time in the Drone Champions League in Brussels, we saw the turtle mode. By reversing the spin of its propellers, managing to flip an upside-down drone the right way means you can recover it. The turtle mode. That's how it's done. Back to our semi-finals and FPV racing, with Mark Heiniger taking selfies of himself, Kai Stutz, Raphael Strahl and Timothy Trowbridge. Their opponents are the Czech team Rotorama, Jakub Thoman, Jan Mittner, Lubomir Sladek and David Strnad joining us for the first time this season. First single heat had Kai Stutz against Lubomir Sladek. Two pilots making great straight lines through the trees that have caused so many problems to others, but it is Kai Stutz who brings it home into the crash gates. Raphael Strahl against David Strnad in the second single heat. Great contest, very close between them. This is Strnad's view of Strahl in front of him through the gallery outside the library. Hairpin turn back through the docks gate, over the top of the Mont Des Arts, and as they come down towards the Brussels gate, David Strnad hits it on the top before he's turned around to fly through it. So Rotorama are 2-0 down going into the big heat, and if they take first, second and third, they will turn that 2-0 deficit into a 3-2 and the other spot in the grand final. It is all the blue drones out in the lead from the starting blocks, and then it is just Timothy Trowbridge up front for his team, going through the trees again with that incredible straight line. A little bit twitchy as he comes out of them through into parking and back over the trees to the gallery. Out in front for his team, where he needs to be and where we have seen him so many times. Sladek is the lead racer for Rotorama, but he is some 6 seconds behind. And as Timothy Trowbridge crosses over the Mont Des Arts and starts his second lap, he sees Sladek coming back the other way. He's already passed over the top of one dead red drone. There's another one at the start of the trees. Two of his opponents down, and they needed 3 of them to finish in the top 3 places. So Timothy now aware that his team will be going to the grand finals, but nevertheless, through the gallery at speed, hairpin turn through the docks gate there. Split S over Conrad, making his way across the Mont Des Arts with over 10 seconds between him and the nearest racer now. 2 gates to go, through Brussels, DCL gate and that deadly fountain in front of him. He's through that in exactly 1 minute. Timothy Trowbridge takes his team to the grand final.
Yeah, just go for it. I mean, now it's everything or nothing, so just fire full throttle and go for it.
Confirmation that FPV Racing are in the grand final after knocking out Rotorama 3-0. Don't go anywhere! Our grand final of the Brussels Grand Prix will be up next. Welcome back to the Brussels Grand Prix of the Drone Champions League, and it's grand final time. Team FPV Racing with Mark Heiniger, Raphael Strahl, Timothy Trowbridge, and Kai Stutz. Team FPV Racing, an all-Swiss unit, and looking for their first win of the season. They came second in our first race in Paris. They came second in Vaduz. Looking to stop them getting the win, though. Team NEXXBlades Racing with Brett Collis, Gary Kent, Mac Poshvolt, and the 10-year-old superstar, Adam Blackburn. 3 pilots from the UK and Mac Poshvolt from Poland. They're languishing a little further down in the leaderboard for the season. They're looking to make a big change to that now. In the grand final, it's a slightly different format. We have 4 single heats. Each pilot races against a pilot from the other team. The slowest ones in qualifying for each team go head-to-head first. First single heat has Mark Heiniger against Adam Blackburn. Mark taking a slow, gentle route into the trees and still managing to hit the dirt. Adam Blackburn, on the other hand, zooms around his course at high speed, as we've always seen him do. He gets the first point for NEXXBlades Racing. Brett Collis, his teammate with the green drone, showing that excellent line through the trees that he's been refining all day. Through into parking, out into the gallery at high speed for him, through the bit where it narrows, across the centre of the Mont Des Arts, and comfortably gets the second point for his team. Single heat 3 has Raphael Strahl for FPV Racing, massively overshooting the first turn at the Brussels gate and getting caught in the far side netting. He's done. The 4th point from 4 single heats also goes NEXXBlades Racing's way, thanks to Mac Poshvolt. 4 out of 4 for NEXXBlades Racing means the only way that FPV Racing can now win is if all 4 of their pilots take all 4 top positions in the big heat. Mac Poshvolt there on stage looking very confident with where he's got his team too. NEXXBlades Racing in green, FPV Racing in blue in the final race of the Brussels Grand Prix. All the drones out of the block, one of the blue ones nearly into the starting gantry. Brett Collis is in the lead but hits a gate and he is already down and out of it. Mac Poshvolt over the fountain but overshoots the trees and into the side wall. Timothy Trowbridge in the lead for FPV Racing, clips a tree, he is done. Mark Heiniger flying at great speed through the trees, exits through the pylons, hits a tree on the way out, a little too hasty. Gary Kent going into the gallery with his teammate Adam Blackburn ahead of him. Hairpin turn as they head up to the docks gate. Adam goes through it, Gary misses it, massively overshoots and is into the bushes. It's now between Kai Stutz and Raphael Strahl for FPV. No longer Kai Stutz. It leaves Adam Blackburn out in front. Raphael Strahl, the last remaining drone for FPV. Through the DCL gate, over the fountain, coming up to the trees. He's got to close the gap between him and Adam Blackburn, and he's got to do it now with only half a lap remaining. Tries to come out of the trees too quickly. He is done. Everybody on stage not too sure how this race is going to turn out, and after review, Adam Blackburn wins it for NEXXBlades Racing and a 5-0 sweep for them. That means NEXXBlades Racing takes 250 points for the season and FPV chalk up a 3rd runners-up position out of 3 races. Gemfan get 3rd over Rotorama for 4th. There's Gemfan taking their place on the podium here at the Mont Des Arts in Brussels. FPV Racing very pleased with another 2nd place for them. But it is NEXXBlades Racing who are the champions of the Brussels Grand Prix.
Feels always great. I mean, I love DCL, I love how you do podiums, I love how you do events. We knew that we won when there was 4-0 on the one-on-one heats, and then we just took it easy. And I mean, big shout out to Adam. He's amazing. Just 10 years old, and he's been killing it all day today.
FPV Racing remain at the top of the season standings with their 3rd runners-up position, giving them 660 points. NEXXBlades Racing move up to 2nd ahead of Rotorama, who are 3rd. NEXXBR Free Flow are in 4th with Flyduino Kiss, Conrad Racing, Gemfan and Wild Prop behind them. We are now midway through our season. Make sure you follow us on social media to keep up with all the news ahead of the remaining races in the calendar. We'll finish the season in Berlin, but before then, we go to the incredible Salina Târda salt mine, underground in Romania. A huge challenge for all of our pilots. Make sure you join us for that. I'm Matt Andrews. Thanks very much for watching the Drone Champions League.